M Night Shyamalan ding dong. That boy, that guy swings for the fences conceptually. Every one of his movies has a great or terrible concept. So you look at movies like, and it's also a matter of if he executes it good. Because you look at like The Happening, cool concept. Imagine if all plant life decided to turn on humanity and poison the air and kill us all. Concept is there. The execution is a disaster. You look at something like Signs. Brilliant concept. Also, it's God versus aliens, and brilliant execution. You look at something like After Earth. Terrible concept. Therefore, the rest of the movie is gonna be bad. Everything on Earth evolved to kill us. How? We're not on Earth. In order to defeat this giant monster, you gotta go stone face and have no soul. So stupid. But that's what makes him interesting, is that he's so divisive because he has these wild swings at conceptual ideas that if you're not on board, it's not gonna work, and if you're on board, it's probably gonna work. So this is another one of those high concept, crazy movies of his. And from the trailer, as you could tell, so spoiler alert if you haven't seen the trailer, but what it's about is people are on a beach that ages you. The beach makes you grow older extremely fast. So, from a conceptual level, I was very on board. This movie does have its good and bad. So, as far as the positives go, I love the concept. I thought it was scary at points. There were some disturbing moments. I was like, oh, he did some creepy horror movie things very well in this movie. I love the cast. I thought the cast was great. The acting was very good. And it was endlessly interesting. Throughout the movie, I was never not interested in what's happening or what's going to happen next. And I was looking for that twist. I liked the twist. I thought the twist was very interesting. But it wasn't one of his most shocking twists because I called the twist very early on. Like half an hour into it, I called the twist. Because they gave a little hint that was a little bit too obvious to me that made the twist not as impactful as it could have been. Yeah. So I left the theater overall liking the movie. I thought it was good. It goes on to my negatives right now. He has this inability, past like Signs, to write dialogue that doesn't sound clunky and bizarre. Everybody in his movie sounds like they're about to peel off their skin and they're from Mars. It's this weird back and forth that he has between characters, these conversations, that they just sound unnatural and not human. It's a hurricane happening outside. And that was the biggest flaw in this movie, was the dialogue was so clunky and awkward that there were moments that were to be taken seriously and people in the audience were laughing because things were just said so bizarrely. I do think the pacing is kind of weird. It's like slow pace build up, fast pace, everything's happening. It slows down and then it gets the ending. The pacing is bizarre. The ending didn't have the impact that it could have had because of the expository writing. So here's a big twist, but they kind of exposit it at you. And there's a lot of exposition moments of dialogue where they have to explain to the audience what's happening, and we can kind of see what's happening, but they think M. Night thinks we're dumb, so he has to explain it to us. I'm like, we get it. You don't have to say it out loud. But characters are saying things out loud that I was like, this is why your dialogue is bad, because you exposit things like these are video game characters explaining to you what the mission objective is. And you might be from Mars. I'm starting to think M. Night's from another planet. Other than the horrible dialogue and the ending that kind of felt flat, even though it was a good twist, the way it was done was very just like telling it at you. So the end of this movie does fall flat to me. The rest of the movie is pretty good. Very unique, very weird. It's one of those, like all his movies, you're either gonna be on board for the ride or you're gonna hate it and you're gonna be like, what the fuck did I just see? So overall, I will give it a B-. Very interesting, held my attention, loved the cast, good acting, clunky dialogue, ending fell flat, wonderful concept. M. Night, all his movies are all over the place like that. So yeah, I'm gonna do a best and worst, probably, depending on how this week goes, of my favorite and least favorite of his films. And if you saw this movie, what did you think? Plus, no spoilers, please. Subscribe.